Hey everybody, Palm Springs Cindy. Well, we're all in the middle of this storm, evidently. Well, at least us here on the West Coast. I guess it's coming up from Mexico, coming up from the south. And I'm at the beach, and we have just had sprinkles, I'll say, very light rain, sprinkles since early this morning, since around 6, maybe 5 or 6. And it's like 3 o'clock now, I think. So that's all we've had here. So I'm not sure, how the others are doing, but I hope everybody is going to be safe. While I've been sort of hunkered down in my little apartment up here, I thought, this is a good time to catch up and maybe bank some videos. But I was thinking lately, and actually it's kind of always in the back of my mind, and hopefully and probably yours too, if you're my age. I've been thinking about aging and my life, my story, kind of a thing. And I guess I just want to share my thoughts with you guys, see if anything resonates with you. I did write down, I actually made a little mind map here, things that come to my mind, things that I think about as I'm aging, goals that I want to set. And first of all, I have to stop and think about, what do I value? What are my values? What are things that are important to me, especially at this stage of my life? And this is sort of the thematic breakdown, I'll say. God, family, friends, and my health. And then I'm going to go through each one of these, but I want to focus right now on health, because at 72, all of us here at this particular age, we know that there's certainly less time ahead of us than behind us. And in fact, I was watching that show Virgin River on Netflix, and it was like a knife in my heart. There's at the very beginning that there's this doctor that picks this young gal up, who's his nurse, and they don't know it yet because they haven't met. At any rate, she says, I'm working for evidently the man that I'll be working for he's old and he needs help, and his practice is going to deteriorate if he doesn't get some help. And so he says, well, I'm only 72. And I thought, oh my gosh, and then later in the show, that same show, they refer to, well, he's old. And the other guy goes, I know he's old. And I'm like, he's 72, I'm 72. So, I hate to be labeled old, but, I guess I am old. I am old. What can I do about it? So regarding health and getting older, one of my biggest fears is suffering and pain. If something happens to me and it can heal, no big deal. But, like for example, when I broke my leg 2 times, handful of years apart, there was a lot of suffering, a lot of pain, a lot of convalescence as it got better, as it healed. And having that happen to me again really does frighten me. Also, hospitals, I don't like hospitals. I don't like anything about them other than they're there to help me get better. But when I go to visit someone, or if I'm in the hospital, it's just a place I don't want to be. So the idea of me having surgery for something or other, or having an accident, whatever, the thought of me being in the hospital is something that is not appealing. Frankly, I don't want that to happen at all. So, I know nobody longs to go to the hospital, but as we get older and we might need, a replacement here or a fix it there, the chances of going to the hospital are certainly greater than not. So, okay, I do think I value my health, and with that, I know that I have to be careful. I have to be intentional about walking, about, my lifestyle and things like that. So as I age, I consider and think, and I don't want to use the word worry, but I have concerns that I want to stay healthy. I want to tackle the subject of, as we age, the idea of us, I'm trying to get comfortable here, the idea of us being alone. And in fact, that is, I want to sort of focus on that because I've had some people, and I've noticed in the papers or some things I've watched on TV, the topic of loneliness, especially as we age. I do think about loneliness, and I don't want to be alone, especially as I age. I think it would be nice to have a partner, to have a man partner to love and to be loved by. And I think just in terms of safety, once again, if he falls, I fall. If he's having something going wrong and I'm having something, or I am, we're there to tend to one another. And whatever that looks like, if it means we call an ambulance or we call 911 or we just, get out an ice pack or something. I think it's, I do, as I age, I think about, do I want to be alone? And if I am alone, what will that look like? And, if I'm not, what will that look like? But, being alone is more than just physical safety. It's, it's an emotional situation. And one reason I have a dog is because I know, Poppy's just loves me and greets me every time I come in the door and snuggles with me at night. Poppy keeps me company. It helps me from feeling alone. I talk to her. I think she talks back to me, but everybody will laugh at that, but I think she does. And so loneliness, I'm going to talk about that as I hit some other subjects. But as I age, I do think about being alone. All right, the bulk of this conversation and the bulk of what I think about and the ideas that come into my head when I think about aging, I think about, first of all, finances. And, for example, I own my own home, and it's up to me to make sure my home is cared for and maintained, and that takes money. Yes, I have a gardener, and I do have someone come in twice a month to clean my house, but along with that, paying taxes and homeowner association fees that will continue to go up. And I think about, I deliberately bought a new construction home because I thought about things like air conditioning, those big generator units, if those go out, those are thousands, I think they're like $10,000 or something. I think about my roof, if that, I wanted everything to be new, my plumbing, my electric, my roof, my air conditioning, so that I would not have to spend big money on fixing those kinds of things. So as I age, I do think about, finances, and is my retirement enough to get me through the rest of my life? And it will be if I am cautious and if I take care of things. I think about if prices could go up so much, I could always get a roommate or, go into a reverse mortgage or something like that. But it is something I do think about as I age. I also think about, this whole sense of belonging and lifestyle, keeping busy. So how do for all of us, there's a balance between staying busy and being too busy, because I do like my alone time, and sometimes I can hibernate. I can get very cozy in my own house, and with my big screen TV and my dog and my beautiful backyard and my computer time and my office, and so I could keep myself busy in my own home probably forever, but I know it's not good for me because I need to be out and about. So some of the things, like we have lots of activities at our clubhouse, but our club, I do basically three things at the clubhouse. I play bridge at the clubhouse one day a week, and I usually go there for dinner one night a week during the live music night. And I have to get back to swimming, but I'm not there right now. And then when I was there, they closed the pool to renovate it. So I will be using the pool there. And then another thing that I do is I play canasta with some girls once a week. And then the other thing that I really need to get on, and I'm ashamed to admit this, but I have stopped going to church out of inconvenience. Once I moved, my church, it just became that much farther away, and I didn't want to get up that much earlier. And there were a few other things. At any rate, I need to get back into a church community, and by that it helps me to honor God, stay closer to God, be closer and more involved as part of His church and my church family. Now, there are several really nice churches very close to where I live. So I need to start making an attempt to find a new church, and through my church comes opportunities to volunteer, to help with an outreach in our community, so to speak. Whether it's helping the church in passing out food, or whether it's helping set up the coffee Sunday morning, or whether it's helping gather and spreading the word at Christmas time to donate Christmas gifts to the needy, or whatever. Through your church community, those opportunities are much more open for us to volunteer. And so I do think about the idea of being active versus getting boring and bored. Because if I'm home alone too much, I do get bored, and it becomes harder and harder to step out and to get involved with an outside group, whether it's something like bridge or something like a volunteer activity. It becomes harder and harder. Now, like, for example, I know at our clubhouse, they have a walking club. They do exercise. They have a beautiful gymnasium. And I've only done those things a few times. So I need to, that's something I need to do. I need to become, now whether or not I do it at the club or do it on my own, walking around my block or making a little trail for myself, and putting some earphones on, taking Poppy. Right now it's too hot, but and I was doing that before the heat, but I need to be more consistent. So regarding aging, it can be painful. Every morning getting up out of bed, it seems to be like a little ache and pain. This morning I must have slept on my neck wrong. So right in here I had this pain, this little crook in my neck. And I took some ibuprofen, and it, within an hour and a half, it was 100% better. But there always seems to be something that I injure or a bruise, or like I get those bloody bruises now. And I think, oh my gosh, that's like what old people get. Well, duh. So aging is not easy. And I think it's important for me, to think about my health. I don't want to hurt. I don't want to be in pain. I don't want to be in the hospital. To think about, friendships and activities that take me out of the house, that extend myself, and being planted in a church community that keeps me close to God in a church family way. I think that's so important. A time to really praise and worship with the congregation, with other people, is very supportive and uplifting, at least for me. So I don't know, you guys. I think on this rainy day during this tropical storm, I hope it doesn't get any worse, but I just had some quiet time to think, and I thought I would share my thoughts with you guys. So with that, P.S. I love you. Until our next conversation. Bye-bye.